What's up guys, David Hoffman here from Davidsbeenhere in Narita Airport, Tokyo, Japan. I just finished my epic 12-day tour of the country. I stayed 4 days in Tokyo and then I spent 72 hours between Kyoto and Osaka, and then I went off and did 5 days in between Yamanashi, Shizuoka, and Kanagawa Prefectures. These are 3 states that are really close to Tokyo. A lot of people have a misconception about Japan that it's extremely expensive, and it really isn't. I mean, it really depends on where you come from. Like if you're coming from India, then obviously it's like ultra expensive, but if you're coming from the States, you know, Europe, like Northern Europe, it's not that expensive. Like I'm from Miami and I feel like everything was relatively the same except food. Food is actually cheaper here than what I would spend in Miami just having a regular lunch. So today what I want to do is I want to talk to you about, you know, expenses. You know, is Japan expensive? Yeah, I mean, it's expensive, but it really isn't. So I mean, I'm gonna just go through each thing. You know, there's a few things like food, transportation, hotels, and then souvenirs, like stuff you want to buy and take home. So here we go. We're gonna go right through everything, okay? Let's start with food. Food here in Japan is amazing. There's so many different varieties. It's not like Japanese food in the States. Japanese food in the States is like sushi, sashimi, and rolls, and most people don't know the difference between rolls and sushi. Rolls are like sushi rolls, and then sushi is just sashimi on top of sticky rice. That's the biggest difference, okay? And then there's a lot of different things. So there's yakitori, there's a lot of tofu dishes, there's a lot of fish dishes, there's oden, which is like a Japanese hot pot, and then it's like 3 different types of drinks. So it's like sake, which is rice wine, there's sochu, which is distilled potatoes, and then there's whiskey. I didn't know that. I didn't know about sochu and whiskey. Those are like the 2 newest ones for me. And there's plum wine, which is not really strong. It's like okay. So in terms of food and pricing, so I would say this: if you're gonna go to Conveyor belt sushi, there's like a few different chains. I went to one of them. I gotta say it was really cheap, really delicious, and really quick. So the way it works is usually at these sushi places, you walk in, you get in line, they're always full because a lot of people in Japan that go to these places, especially with families, because basically they eat for cheap. You go in, you get in line, once you sit down, either you get from the conveyor belt, which keeps going over and over and over, which has like the standard stuff, or you get the tablet, you just choose English, and you start selecting stuff, and everything is usually around 100 yen. It's actually 108 yen because they tax it a little bit, right? So the 8% tax. So 100 yen is basically $1. So like for me, I ate like 10 dishes or like 15 dishes, and it was a lot. So it's like 2 sushis per plate, and that's 15 bucks, right? And I exploded. I mean, it was a lot of food. If I wanted to add sake on top, it would be like maybe like $5 to $7 more. Beer's the same thing, $5 to $7 more. So it really depends. All right, so let's talk about street food. Street food, I mean, is a huge variety. It depends on the city. I mean, every city's different, but huge variety. And then usually it's between like $3 and $5, but you don't get like one piece. You get lots of pieces. So I got like some mochis, some like nice mochis, and they didn't give me one. They gave me like 6. So that was like 300 yen. So it really depends. So usually $3 to $5. So like if you're gonna eat street food, there could be stuff for $1, but usually it's $3 to $5. So if you're gonna go out and eat that, you'd have to go with people and share it, or you'd get 1 or 2 dishes max. You're still spending under $10, and that's for like lunch, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right? If you don't know about the convenience store culture here, convenience store culture is huge. There's like 3 different brands: 7-Eleven, Family Mart, and Lawson. People go there for breakfast, especially because they get their food and they go to work, and they either eat it on the way to work or once they get to work. And the food there is incredible. I mean, they have oden now because it's winter, which is like the hot pot. They have like incredible sushi, onigiris, which are like basically sushi in like a triangle shape but without vinegar, and they have like something inside like salmon, tuna, whatever. I mean, it's really amazing. And I did it a few times. I actually did a challenge about that. I like spent like 1,500 yen, which is like $15, and I exploded. I got so many things. Convenience store culture is amazing. I really enjoyed it, and when you come to Japan, you have to do it. I mean, just go there, get some stuff. For Japanese breakfast, there's a few different things. So if you're at a hotel, they also have like Japanese breakfast, which is like a huge assortment of food. So it's a lot of fish, a lot of vegetables, a lot of tofu, and that's actually more expensive. I did at the Hyatt Regency, and I think it was like $50 to eat that, but it was really amazing. I mean, it's a whole different experience. I mean, it never ends. I mean, it's a big assortment of food. I think I had like 28 different things. And then the other thing is there's a lot of beef bowl chain restaurants. I went to 2 of them. I went to Sukiya and I went to Yoshinoya. So both of them, I mean, extremely cheap, big beef bowls. I mean, amazing. Like their slogans are like cheap, fast, and delicious, basically. I mean, just amazing. You get in, you order, it comes out in a minute, you finish in 5 minutes, and you leave. So within 20 minutes, you sat down, you ordered you ate, and you left. So the next thing is attractions. So attractions vary in terms of cost, but it's not going to be as expensive as the States or Europe. And you know, in the States and Europe, most attractions I feel like are like 20 to like 30 bucks. You know, a museum, a castle, it really depends, but it's more expensive. I think it was a lot more affordable. I was spending like 5 to 10 bucks to go into anything, a castle, you know, amusement park. I mean, it really depends, but it was a lot cheaper than going in other places in the world. And also the price depends on when you come. If you come in winter or you come in summer, prices change, they fluctuate. Right now I'm in Japan in January, and I didn't expect to see cherry blossoms, but I actually saw them in the town of Atami. I think it's like an hour train ride south from Tokyo, and there they actually bloom a little earlier because it's a lot hotter. Most people want to come to Japan in March and April for the cherry blossoms. The problem is that time of the year, it's a lot more expensive. Everybody's coming, so I mean, everything goes up in price. You know, there's multiple transportation. I mean, there's like bullet train, there's express train, there's regular train, there's subway, there's metro, there's bus, and then walking, right? So like in Tokyo alone, like wherever you're going, there's always a price to get there from wherever you are. So it's like 140, I think was the minimum, was like $1.40, and then the max is like, I don't know, 700, which is $7. So I mean, it depends how far you're going, which line you're taking, but usually I would spend like $2 to $3 every time I got on the metro, right? Metro and subway. Now I took the bullet train. I took the bullet train from here all the way to Kyoto and then Osaka back, and that cost me $180, $190. But the only reason it cost me that is because I went the green car. I went a little more expensive route because I really wanted to film it. It's like more luxury, assigned seating, Wi-Fi. I mean, super like business class style. So that was amazing. But if you want to go on it, there's a cheaper option, which is obviously economy. I think the price on that is like $60 less. But they also have like premium economy, which is like reserved seating. So they have 3 non-reserved cars, and then they have the rest, which is like 10 other cars, which are reserved seating. So a lot of people ride the bullet train. I mean, everybody rides the bullet train. It's like 50 years old. I can't even believe it because it goes like 200 miles an hour and it's like fly through the country. And there's a bullet train that goes everywhere. I mean, but the different companies. So there's like JR West, JR Central, JR East, JR North. I mean, there's so many companies. If you want to walk in Tokyo, obviously that's the easiest option. I mean, but it's hard because everything's super far. The same thing in Osaka. Kyoto's actually the hardest for me because that was like more buses, walking buses. Trains were not so, you know, easy because they're not like really close to the destination. Osaka and Tokyo are huge cities, so everything's connected by the metro and the subway, so a lot easier. And then if you're gonna visit Kyoto and Osaka, that's very easy to connect to each other because they're only a 30-minute train ride from each other. And then from there you can also go to Kobe and you can go to Nara where the deers are. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to do that, but they're all right next to each other right there in the Kasai region. In case you guys don't know, Uber is basically illegal here in Japan. The only place where there's Uber is in Tokyo, but it's like a black car, so it's really expensive. So I took it a few times because I got to stations and I had to like had all my luggage with me, so I had to do it, right? So it actually cost me about 40 to 50 bucks each time. I did twice. There was one time I was gonna do it from my hotel to my other Airbnb. I was switching and I saw it and it was like 80 bucks and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. So what I did was I just got on the train. The only issue with getting on the train or the metro with all your luggage is that there's a lot of stairs because basically here in Tokyo, it just doesn't end because there's so many lines that they keep going down and down and down. I mean, it goes like 6 levels deep. Crazy. Another thing I want to tell you is when you get here to Narita Airport, the best way to get into Tokyo is taking the Narita Express. It takes between 60 and 90 minutes depending on where you're going, and it's the most affordable and fastest. If you're gonna take a car, it's gonna take you like almost like 3 hours. It's like that's how far we are. It's not in the central at all. I mean, it's like completely out. There's also accommodation. So there's 2 types of accommodation. Obviously, there's hotels. You can go like super like hostel all the way to 5-star, and there's Airbnb. I did both. I did hotel and Airbnb. I stayed at like a 3-star hotel. One time I stayed at a 5-star hotel. The 5-star hotel actually cost like 600 bucks a night. 3-star hotel cost like 300 bucks a night. And then luckily I didn't pay for that. And then the Airbnb cost me, I think, like between 60 and 120 was what I paid. I stayed in 3 different Airbnbs, and that is for like a studio. So only like 2-3 people fit in there. Families don't fit in there for sure. So I mean, I personally would go the Airbnb route, but the only issue is you have to like really figure it out. They send you usually a guide, like in a guidebook, and it tells you like when you get off the train station, go here, go here, go here, go here, and it shows you in pictures where to go. It's a little more complicated because obviously there's like a language barrier here. Not everybody in Japan speaks English, especially clearly. Definitely think about these options when you're coming to Japan. The next thing I'm going to talk about is like souvenirs, right? Souvenirs. Hardest part because I need to buy souvenirs for everybody. T-shirts, expensive, super expensive. I mean, too expensive, 40, 50 bucks for a t-shirt. And then if you want to buy a bottle of sake at a brewery, amazing. 30 bucks for like the best one. So I mean, there's like, it's like the huge range. Like alcohol, things that are produced here usually are cheaper. So like sake, I got some like Hello Kitty stuff, I got a few things for my kids. I mean, just little things that were a little cheaper than the t-shirts. Prices, you know, vary, but I mean, certain things are really expensive, certain things are a lot cheaper. So it's an amazing place. Definitely think about coming here in winter. It is definitely cheaper, less people, everything's a lot more accessible, but obviously it's colder, so you're gonna have to bundle it up like I did every single day. Bundle up shoes, scarf, beanie, sweater, jacket. I mean, forever, because I'm here in like dead of winter in January. Every single day was like 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit every single day. Sometimes it went less, sometimes a little hotter, but yeah, I mean, for sure. And then I recommend definitely going to these 3 cities, Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Must visits, but then also visit these other places I told you about. Those are amazing destinations, especially going to see Mount Fuji. It's like, wow. And then going to like hot spring resorts. That's another thing I didn't talk about, the accommodations. Go to some ryokans, but they're expensive. They are expensive. They're like 300 bucks per person per night, and that includes basically breakfast and dinner, and that's it. But they're really amazing because they're like traditional Japanese houses. You take off your shoes when you enter. I mean, it's really cool. I think it just like opened my appetite for coming to this country. I actually want to come with my family, come for like 2 months, and like base myself a lot, or like, you know, Osaka, Kyoto, and like explore deeper. It's just such an amazing country, and I'll tell you guys something. Sake is like the best thing in the world. I think this is better than wine, better than port. It's just so easy to drink, and you don't get drunk at all. I mean, it's 15% alcohol. I mean, obviously you don't want to overdo it. I've been drinking a little bit every day because I love it. I mean, it's been an amazing experience here in Japan. I have fallen in love with this culture. Everybody's so nice. Everything's so clean. Everything's so efficient. There's like a bullet train every 3 minutes. The biggest delay is like 40 seconds or 26 seconds, some crazy thing like that. So I mean, everything is like clockwork, which is a big difference compared to every other country I've ever been to. And it's really like a whole different world in Asia, because I've been to China, I've been to Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. I mean, a lot of countries in Asia, and this is a whole different world. I highly recommend coming to Japan. Think about when you come here, because obviously prices change, and if you're getting ready to come here for Tokyo 2020, the Olympics, I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy, because that's going to be the most, like the most demand for this place is going to come that time. Just too many people. It's going to be too crazy, and you don't want to see it that way. You rather see it with less people, you know, just regular, not the crazy Olympics, you know, fiasco is going to happen, because it's going to be a different world with the Olympics. You won't see it the same way as seeing it like the way I did it. This is an amazing country, and if you guys love this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you thought it was informative, leave me a comment below, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome travel content. And sorry, I'm going on a speed tantrum, but I have to board my flight in like 15 minutes, so I gotta go. Peace.